So you're checking out some ski gear you need for the upcoming weekend, but you've got some questions on it. You see a couple of salespeople, so you walk over to them to ask your questions. Unfortunately, they're involved in a lovely discussion about their ski trip last week, and they turn their back to you so they can continue their conversation. Disgusted, you figure, well, heck with it, I'll go somewhere else. But you're hungry, so you think you'll stop at the local cafe. When you sit down, the waitress comes over, you ask her how her day is going. She proceeds to tell you all about it, the fact that she was called in because some flake called in sick, and she got there, the boss was in an upset mood. Didn't matter that she had trouble finding a babysitter, but she's there and she's wondering why she even bothered. But hey, what can I get you to drink? Sound familiar? Where's the service? The value we create for the public we serve in a business, regardless of what we do in that organization, is in the products we create and deliver, and in the services that we provide. Experiences such as those described above diminish the value or fail to deliver it altogether. The service industry is one of our largest sectors, and it now comprises almost 90% of American workers. Think about that, 90%. The number of businesses involved in delivering services is almost endless. Retail stores, restaurants, doctors' offices, dentist offices, hospitals, law firms, accounting firms, and so on. Even organizations delivering a product may have a service element involved, either in selling and delivering goods or providing customer service to help with the problems a customer may experience with the product later. You can work really hard to develop a great rapport with your customers, but all it takes is one person on staff to have a bad day and let that attitude show through, and you may lose that customer. You might also lose the people that customer is going to tell about his or her experience. When I worked at a law firm, it was interesting to see the type of client care the lawyers provided. It didn't matter how important the conversation was that they might be involved in or what kind of a meeting they were in. When the customer called, everything stopped so that the lawyer could answer the phone, handle the client's needs. The attorneys worked many long hours, too, on top of that, to be sure that the client needs were met timely. The old saying, the customer comes first, is right on. Without customers, you don't have a business. So this means employees need to be responsive to customers. They need to exhibit a positive and cheerful attitude and tend to the customer's needs promptly and appropriately. And they need to say thanks. How often have you thanked somebody providing a service at a store or going through the drive-thru, and their response is, sure, no problem, or you're welcome. They don't bother to say, thank you for coming in. It's a small thing, but it can mean a lot. Even some TV news stations these days say, we know you have a lot of choices for news. Thank you for choosing us. What about if a customer's upset? Well, you need to do what's needed to right the situation. Get the customer calm. Be polite. Keep your cool. Get the boss involved if need be. What about customers who become out of line? Someone who sexually harasses an employee or bullies the person. There's no need to tolerate these folks. They're customers the business doesn't need, and the lawsuits from the employees the business is going to get isn't needed either. It's okay to ask the person to stop. Still be polite, but be firm. Ask the person to stop and report that behavior to your manager, who should stick up for you. Of course, the manager is going to need to hear both sides of the story and assess the situation, but if the customer is displaying inappropriate behavior, it's the manager's job to protect the employee, something that's important for you to know. So how do we ensure that we're giving the very best of service to our customers? As a company, provide training to all employees in customer interaction, and conduct short surveys of clients to gauge their satisfaction. Do that on a regular basis. Short's important because otherwise the customer may not take the time to answer it, and it's always good to offer them something in return to entice them to complete the survey. How about you as a person working in any field? What would you do to keep the customer or the client happy? Well, be available. Put the customer first. Be timely and responsive to the customer's needs. Always be upbeat and friendly. Don't talk about your own personal problems or difficulties. The customer really doesn't care. Know your customer if you've worked with them for a while. Know your business and demonstrate your knowledge to the extent that it reassures or helps the customer, but don't go overboard with too much information. Is there something you can do to add to your service, within company guidelines, of course, that will make the experience more pleasant for the customer? And say thank you. Service is a value that businesses provide to their customers. Remember these tips to provide quality service, and that way you'll be able to keep them as customers.